Spoiled brother keeps insisting on proposing to his girlfriend at my wedding. He has a whole plan to hijack our big day, but I told his GF and she dumped him before he gets the chance. I am 27M and have my wedding planned for this October. While my wedding preparation is on the rocks, there's someone who's busy making plans to ruin it. He is none other than my elder brother Rick, 33M. He has been planning to propose to his girlfriend on my wedding day. That's right. Before I delve into the further details, do you think it is even fair to steal our day and propose to his girlfriend? More than my brother, it is about my family. We live in a small town where everyone knows most of them. Our grandparents also live in a close vicinity. It would be true if I say that most of our extended family and relatives are put up within a circumference of 5 miles. We have a traditional household where you have to respect your elders just because they were born before you. My brother is older than me and he takes his age to be an entitlement to get away with his stuff. We have a family tradition of having a weekly dinner together at our parents' place if we are in town. Last week, during this weekly dinner, my brother dropped this bombshell. He said he's planning on proposing his girlfriend at my wedding, so I should keep a slot for him between the events and preferably before the exchange of vows. He said it so normally that for a moment I thought he was kidding to piss me off. I said if this was supposed to be a joke, then you got me, I'm pissed. He said it was no joke and he was damn serious about his plan. I said, excuse me, it's my wedding, not a birthday which comes everywhere, and you can use the occasion to make it yours. How could you even think I would let you go ahead with your plan? He said, why not? It's a perfect opportunity. Everyone would be present there and it would be so good to propose to Mia, his girlfriend, in front of everyone. The photographer would capture her reaction from all angles. How beautiful memories it is going to create. I was dumbfounded at his stupidity. I said, do you realize that you're going to steal our moment? Wedding day is supposed to be for the bride and the groom. They should be at the center stage and no one, absolutely no one should get any footage except them. He said, of course, it would be your day. I would just take 10 minutes of that day to propose to Mia, that is it. It is such a small thing. It shouldn't bother you. Why are you making such a big deal about it? I needed someone to back me up, so I looked at my parents to knock some sense into their 33-year-old man-child. But my parents curled up their arms and said, it was between us to settle and they were not going to get involved in our matters. It got me pissed off even more. I mean, when there's a situation where my brother needs something from me, they would run to advocate his case, but when I reach out to them for help, they say they're neutral and want to stay away from siblings matter. I said cool, then I'll deal with it in my way, don't come with a moral compass at that time. I stood up from the table and affirmed with a straight face that I'm not gonna let Rick propose at my wedding. I came home and told my fiancée about Rick's demand and she got absolutely pissed off. She said there's no way we should allow Rick do that. You know, women are way more particular about their wedding day than men. She said if required she would speak to Rick and talk him out of this idea. I said it's not required as of now. I have denied his request and it should be fine for now. This could have ended here, but yesterday Rick asked for the wedding itinerary with the schedule. I asked him why would he need that. He said he wanted to review the preparation if everything had been planned properly. I said my fiancée is planning everything by herself and we can completely fall back on her. Now the thing is, I don't know if he's still harboring the idea of proposing to his GF at my wedding or if he's genuinely asking about the wedding schedule as goodwill. I don't want to start the topic again because that might reignite the thoughts in his head. Edit, there's one more problem here. Rick's girlfriend, Mia, is my college buddy. Mia, I and my fiancée are close college friends. Rick met Mia at our engagement and hit off. The thing is, Mia is not serious about Rick. She is dating him but has not thought about long term with him. It is natural for her to be apprehensive about him since they have been dating for merely 7 months. Besides, she has a dream of working as an investment banker and she's planning to pursue masters by next fall. She has no plans of settling down in the near future. For some reason, she wants to move to London. She has this thing for British culture. I'm sure she would have discussed her plan with Rick. I don't know why he still wants to embarrass himself and Mia in front of everyone. Until now, I was just worried of Rick seizing our day to propose Mia. Now, I am terrified that if he does, Mia might turn him down in front of everyone. My wedding would transform into his breakup day and would ruin everyone's mood. Me and my fiancé are at a fix on whether we should inform Mia about Rick's proposal. I know it's not the right thing to do. It's their matter and we should stay away from it, but do you see the complexities here? My fiancé thinks we should inform Mia so that she can handle the situation in her way, maybe become transparent to Rick or give him a hint that she is not looking forward to settle down. But I'm worried that if Rick gets to know that we have ruined his surprise, he will howl and throw tantrums like a 5-year-old. I really don't know what to do now. Update 1. Rick saved Mia $1. He dug his own grave. 2 days back, Mia called me in panic asking if Rick had any plans of proposing to her. I was awestruck. I asked her why she was asking this. She said Rick has been asking for a ring she has been wearing. When Mia asked him why he was asking for the ring, he didn't give any straight answer. She freaked out when one of her rings went missing from her jewelry drawer. I was like, you mean Rick stole your ring? She yelled, He stole my ring to make another one with the same measurement. Why else would he steal my ring? I'm guessing your brother is not a thief, is he? I acted dumb and asked her, you think he's gonna propose to you with a new ring? She said, duh, you doomba dollar. She was so mad at this point that if I told her I knew she was gonna kill me. So I remained quiet and asked her what she was gonna do next. She said she was gonna break up with him. I requested her, for Jesus' sake, hold your thoughts until my wedding. I don't want a drunken Romeo raising a toast to me and talking about his breakup. We both burst out in laughter. I calmed her nerves and asked her to tell Romeo Rick about her future plans and that she did not want to get married anytime soon. To talk about Rick, indeed he is a Romeo in love. Every time he dates a woman, he claims her to be the perfect wife for him, but sadly none of the women reciprocated his feelings and dumped him whenever he hinted at long-term plans with them. The same is gonna happen this time with Mia. I do feel bad for him, but he brings this to himself. He is 33, but none of his relationships has ever lasted for more than a year, and it is always him that gets dumped. So, circumstantially, it has to be him, duh. And why would it not be? He freaks out a girl like the way he's doing with Mia. They have been for only 7 months and he's running behind her with a proposal ring. He had done the same with every woman he had dated. Some of them left as soon as they got the hint of his seriousness, and 2 of them even turned him down while he was on his knees with the ring. The entire family had to bear his cryings and wailings for months after that. He sounds like a 5yo, right? Yeah, because he is. He is the firstborn child of our family. Not only for our parents but for the entire family. My father is the second child of my grandparents, but my uncle, father's elder brother, could not conceive a child due to some medical reasons. Even for my brother, my parents had to try for many years before having him. So he was regarded as some sort of miracle child. He was pampered to the core. I have 2 aunts as well, but none of them have a child either. I don't know their reason though. So, Rick was the only child in the entire family until I showed up after 6 years. But he was still the star of the house while I just existed. My parents tried to treat us evenly, but they never succeeded. It was understandable since he was their first child after so much of struggle. I was unplanned. No one even wanted me or expected me. Everyone was happy to have Rick. It goes without saying how this kind of treatment shapes a child. I won't say he was evil, he tried to be a good brother, but he is an entitled one. He has this thing that he's the elder one and the world should revolve around him. Our family has made him so. He's grown physically but mentally too far from his age. He's emotionally needy, otherwise who else proposes to a girl within 7 months of dating, and that too without giving a hint? His over-eagerness to propose is one reason for the rejection. The other reason is that he's useless and dumb. He's still a mama's boy who rushes to mama to talk about his day and win about his life. He has got no social life, no real friends because they don't pamper him the way he get pampered at home, so he thinks no friend is good enough for him. He's 33, yet he doesn't have a stable job, he hops from one to another. Same reason, his butt is not buttered by his boss like it is done by the family members. He fails to understand that the outside world doesn't feed you with a golden spoon unless you are worth it. I'm not sure how things are gonna take a turn from here, but you guys can definitely count on me for updates. Update 2, I tell you, this manchild hasn't grown up a bit. I thought he had given up on the idea of proposing to Mia at my wedding, but dude, he hasn't. He is still game with his plan. Yesterday, during family dinner, I asked him when was he planning to propose. His reply blew my mind, as how could anyone be so dumb? He said, I'm actually confused between 2 slots. One could be, as soon as Andrea, my fiancée, enters the hallway to walk down the aisle and Mia would be standing on the way with flower petals in her hand to shower on Andrea, I could just kneel and propose. Mia would have no idea she's getting a proposal while she watches her friend walk down the aisle. The second option is, when I raise a toast to you, I conclude my speech by going down on my knees and proposing to Mia. Even in this situation, she could not imagine a proposal coming her way at the end of the speech. Okay, which one do you think is better? I screamed out none. How meticulously he has planned to ruin my day. How stupid it would be for me and Andrea. Just imagine this, Andrea walking down the aisle in her bridal dress and I adore her with teary eyes. And in the middle of this, my loser brother goes down on his knees and proposes to his girlfriend. How ridiculous. How did he even think I would allow this to happen? I said I'm not going to let you ruin our day. If you are so keen on having a magical moment of proposal, organize your own event, hire your own photographer to seize the moment and treasure it, or do whatever you want to do with that. When he first laid out this idea of proposing, I was angry, but now I'm angry and concerned both. Because I know what's gonna happen. Mia is very clear about her stand that she's gonna turn him down even if he proposes in front of thousands of people at a stadium. The Mia I know won't hesitate to say no and throw the ring at his face and won't care about the guests present at the wedding. I took a deep breath and asked him if he had already got the ring. Guess what? Mom got excited at this and she rushed to bring the ring to show it to me. I asked him how did he know it would fit Mia. He said he took one of the rings from her drawer to use it as a measurement. I said, you mean, you stole her ring from her drawer? He brushed off my question and asked, do you think I should get a suit similar to you to wear for your wedding? I flipped out and said, Why don't you marry at my wedding venue and get done with it? I can do it another time. Why are you so adamant about proposing to Mia at my wedding? Why not before or after? He said, I already gave you enough reasons. 1. Everyone would be present. 2. The photographers. 3. I'm the elder one. It would be so awkward that I remain single while you get married, so let the people know that I'm not single. I also have a girlfriend and would get married soon. I screamed that it was all about your ego of being the elder one. You cannot see your younger brother getting married before you, and that's why you want to ruin my wedding and make it all about yourself. My parents realized that my anger had blown up. They tried to calm me down, but I said clearly that if Rick didn't drop the idea of proposing at my wedding, then he would be uninvited. Mom flipped out and said it better be a false threat, because if it's real and I uninvite Rick, then she is also gonna boycott my wedding. I was lost for words. Really, Mom? When Rick was planning to seize my wedding day, you guys said you didn't want to take sides and remain silent spectators. Now when I'm retaliating, you're threatening me of boycotting my wedding? I stormed out of their house saying, cool, I don't care even if none of you show up at my wedding, but I'm not gonna let this pampered manchild ruin my big day. I came home red-faced. When I told Andrea about the matter, she burst out in laughter at Rick's immaturity. She said, why do you want to fight with him face to face when we have the option of crushing him through the back door? She was like, let's inform Mia about Rick's plan and ruin his surprise. The thing is, no matter how pissed off I am with my brother, I don't want to stab at his back using Mia. I mean, if I tell Mia that Rick is going to propose to her at my wedding, she is going to freak out and impulsively break up with him. But if we could stop Rick from proposing her, who knows, their relationship might sustain and they might even end up getting married in the future. He is my brother and I want to see him happy. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Update 3. Some people have the habit of desperately diving into hot water and then complaining about their skin burn. I didn't want to use Mia to get rid of my problem, but Rick left me with no choice. Despite telling him multiple times that he was not allowed to propose at my wedding, he still went ahead with his plans. He called my photographer and gave him the instructions that just before Andrea walked down the aisle, he would be going down on his knees to propose to Mia. The cameraman is instructed to capture all the moments from different angles, as they're gonna make an exclusive video of the proposal. I was like, WTF. I called him up and yelled so badly. I don't remember the exact word, but I was damn rude and I used cuss words at him, first time ever. I can't tell you what happened after that. The entire family ganged up against me. This manchild ran to everyone, uncle, aunts, and grandparents, to narrate about the verbal abuse. He said I abused him and didn't let him propose to his girlfriend at my wedding. Surprisingly, no one thinks him to be wrong. They are like, why do I have a problem with that? Mia is Rick's girlfriend and he can propose to her wherever he wants. I said, sure he can, but not at someone's wedding, duh. Everyone went into the mood of boycotting my wedding. My father asked me if I could let him propose at the start of the event or at the end. I said no way. He cannot propose at my wedding venue on that day. Period. Enough of his narcissism. Amidst this, Mia calls me and tells she found her missing ring lying at the corner of the closet. Rick had smartly kept back the ring in the corner of the closet so that Mia drops her suspicions, and that's what happened. She apologized to me for suspecting Rick. I asked her if she's gonna break up with him. She said no, not yet. When I move out for my masters, we'll see how things goes. I said okay and hung up. I thought for a while and then texted Mia to come home. I told her the whole truth. She was absolutely horrified. She said she has told Rick that she has no plans of marrying now and that she wants to finish her masters first. She was like, how could anyone be so dumb to not get a clue from this? She said she was gonna break up with him right then. I said, do whatever you want, but don't drag me into this. She said we are even. I saved her from the embarrassment and she was gonna save my day. Mia, Andrea, and I sat down to create a perfect monologue for Mia to break up. Mia called up Rick and said she had got the scholarship to study master at a reputed college in London and she would be moving there next month. Yeah, it was all made up, but we needed to get rid of him. And once the breakup phase was over, who would go and check if she had actually moved out or not? And if anyone does, we'll deal later. Rick was heartbroken to hear about Mia moving to UK. He was like, how could you leave me alone suddenly? He said he needed some time to figure out his work in London so that he could move in with her. He even suggested that she postpone her admission by a year so that he could have some more time to put his life together in London. She cut him off and said she's breaking up with him and she's moving alone and she doesn't want him there. He went silent for a moment. Maybe he couldn't contemplate what he heard. He just hung up. We thought he was processing the breakup, but the next moment Mia got a call from her apartment security guard saying that a man was banging on her door and creating chaos. Rick thought Mia was inside her apartment and was not answering the doorbell. Mia asked the security to throw him away or call the cops if he didn't go. Then there were a series of voicemails, texts, and calls from Rick. She didn't answer his calls. His voicemail said, he was planning a beautiful event to propose her and this is what he's getting in return, abandonment. We burst out in laughter at his childishness. Mia said she would attend our wedding, but we need to ensure that Rick doesn't create a scene. I said, now that you have broken up with him, we are gonna hand over the man baby to the family to handle. I called up mom and told her that Mia has broken up with Rick because she was moving to UK and Rick is creating a scene at her door, so better watch out for her golden boy if they didn't want to deal with cops. That was it. Mom and dad rushed out to bring him home. Then the whole family sat down to counsel the man baby and help him cope with the breakup. It wasn't surprising because this has happened every single time he has been dumped. That's his way of getting over a breakup. Andrea and I also showed up to console Rick. We got a soft blame because Mia was our friend. They were like, how could your stupid friend dump our sweet boy? Andrea acted her part and said, Mia was a hopper and maybe Rick deserves someone better. We both are still laughing at the situation. I know someone's misery is someone's gain, but we really cannot help Rick in this situation. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Caught my wife sending ND to her stepbrother and was planning on secret hookups. So I exposed their affair at a family barbecue and now everyone is disgusted at them. I, 25 male, met my wife, 24 female, in high school. We were friends during the first few years. I always had a crush on her and asked her to prom during our senior year and we've been together ever since. We ended up getting married about 6 months after graduation because she got pregnant. That's not to say that we didn't love each other. She was my best friend, the person who meant the most to me in the entire world. We just had to rush things along a little bit. We both come from a small, conservative town and people talk. We thought it was the best option for us. She has always been close with her family, closer than I was with mine. Sometimes I thought it was strange, but the more I was welcomed into it I was a little jealous. Her family shared things and everyone was genuinely happy to be around each other. Her mom had remarried shortly before we got together, so she had a new stepfather and stepbrother, and sister. We moved out into our own apartment and started living our life. She got a job helping at the library in town and I started working at my dad's construction company. Everything was going very well for us. Her mom helped with the baby a lot. We enjoyed a simple life with good friends and a loving family. 4 years later, not much had changed. But my father told me he was retiring and I would be in control of his construction company. With this promotion came a huge increase in pay. We were going to be able to buy a house and start saving up for college. I was ecstatic. However, the workload was surprisingly much more than I thought it would be. I was used to working 4 10-hour days, but with my new responsibilities, I was working 5 to 6 days a week and averaging about 70 total hours. I could feel the strain it was putting on my marriage, but I figured it was the best way to make sure our kids had everything they needed. Things went on like that for a while. All the while, when I was at work she would be home or with her family. I didn't expect anything was going on. Even having suspicions about it seemed wrong. But here I am, writing this post. During the spring and summer work always gets incredibly busy, so I'm around at home less and less. Recently, I'd noticed that my wife's stepbrother was coming around more often to hang out while I was out. It seemed perfectly normal. He was with his stepsister and nephew. I had no reason to suspect anything else was happening. He called her and texted her. They would chat on Snapchat all the time, things that I interpreted as normal activity. One night, I was off work and my wife and I were alone watching a movie. I ran to the kitchen to get us some popcorn and I saw her phone on the table. I didn't immediately decide that I was going to go through it. I picked it up, planning on just bringing it to her because she left it there. When I hovered over the screen I saw that she had a message from her stepbrother asking for her to think of an excuse to go to his house. I thought it was weird. My mind didn't immediately go to the reality of what was happening. While the popcorn was still in the microwave, I did a quick look to see what the context of the message was. They were both exchanging suggestive messages about wanting to be together again. He even said how he'd had a thing for her since before their parents got married. My wife agreed and said that it was unfortunate they never had a chance to explore what they had. I scrolled further back and saw messages and videos they'd shared with each other. I felt sick to my stomach. I actually thought I might collapse on the ground and vomit. No, they're not blood related, but they're still family. It was disgusting to me. On top of that, she'd been hanging out with him in our home with our child. My mind ran through countless different scenarios of what could have happened. Right away, I confronted my wife. We had a huge blowout argument which resulted in her storming out, no doubt going to her stepbrother. I began looking into divorce the following morning. I considered my options about what to say to her family, too. She came back late the next day and we had a discussion. I was still very angry, but our child was home and awake, so I didn't want to upset him. She begged me not to tell anyone about it, saying it would destroy her family. She tried to convince me it was a momentary lapse in judgment, but I wouldn't listen. I told her I wouldn't tell her family, but I knew that was a lie. She betrayed my trust, so I was going to get back at her. A few months had passed and she and I ended everything. I moved out and we were still in the midst of figuring out custody. I had no idea what she was telling her family about our separation, but I told mine the truth. I picked my son up from her house and he told me all about a huge family barbecue they were having the following weekend. It was the perfect time for me to come clean. Nobody had any idea I would even be going to the event. I just showed up, uninvited. Everyone was curious about why I was there. I definitely didn't feel welcome, so I figured I'd make my point and then leave. I joined a group of people at a table, including her mom, stepdad, and stepbrother, and I told them everything I knew. Her stepbrother looked like he wanted to leap over the table and strangle me, but instead, he denied my claims and called me a liar. I think everyone around us knew that his impassioned denial was too defensive to not be at least a little bit true. Her mom pulled me aside and asked me how I knew. I could tell it broke her heart and I felt bad about being the one to tell her, but she needed to know. I ended up leaving the barbecue with my son for the rest of the weekend. Apparently, neither of them is welcome at any other family gatherings and most of her family thinks they're disgusting for what they did.